Welcome to the Pimp My Setup Highlights for episode number 116. The first setup was submitted by Adam.
I think the two monitors that are far to the right should be the main monitors, whether they're not as big or not. They look like they're the same exact ones. And so I think those should be the main, especially because they're on their own mount. And then maybe use those others like around the one in the middle and then have the one up top. And then get rid of that little LG one.
But yeah, I do like it. I do think a little bit with personality could be improved. You know, like the Minecraft sword is cool, but, you know, kind of pimp it out. I was thinking maybe, what if you put the PC on the Alex drawer to the left side?
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea because then he would definitely have the space to do more with those monitors.
Adam scored a 68. The next setup was submitted by Monty. Really, the right side is a complete and utter mess. So is the left. The garbage can is spewing out. Yeah, it's like disgusting. Everything is placed in such a terrible spot. Like the MacBook's in a bad spot. I feel like the console and the PC are in a bad spot. You know, you have awesome stuff.
I would figure out a different way to use both ultra wides because for ultra wides I'm not a huge fan of having them like right next to each other. I think there's a lot of stuff that could be like, if he's gonna have them next to each other, center them in the desk, on the desk.
Yeah.
And then you could hide the Alienware behind them. You could hide that Xbox.
And the desk itself is very odd. It's a very weird desk.
It is a very weird desk. I'm not a big fan of glass desk because I had one and it was dirty all the time.
When you're 12, you could still be a badass doing great things. It's just when I see a setup like this, I don't think that's the scenario going on here. And it just needs to be cleaned up. Monty scored a 60. The next setup was submitted by Joshua.
I think he did a really good job because it looks like he's going to utilize every bit of space that he has for the schoolwork and that. And yeah, I think knowing that he's a graphic designer, I think as always an ultra wide would be good.
Oh yeah.
But being in college, that's probably not in the budget.
For a display of that size, that's too far back. Like that's really far back. And I definitely think it should be closer, especially if you're focused on graphics. You want to be able to see it. It's not like you're just reading some stuff and just, you know, whatever the hell you're doing. I would want that to be a little bit closer, and definitely a monitor upgrade down the road is something that should be thought about. Joshua scored 78. The next setup was submitted by Malik.
Flight simulators, they could go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like he could like build a drawer or something.
I was gonna say that, like, he has the ability to do it. I don't know why that wasn't thought about with the desk right off the bat. It's kind of weird, like, that he's using the Apple keyboard. Since he built it, he should have kind of like thought about it a little bit more, because he does plan on getting 2 more of those 32-inch TVs.
Yeah.
And that's gonna take up a lot of room, and then
it's gonna take up the whole desk.
yeah, and those the PC for sure is not gonna fit. That's gonna have to go underneath, and the flight sim stuff like you're saying, that's gonna have to go because that's gonna cover the displays. It's such a simple setup. There's no personality really. It's just blah. Malik scored a 71. The next setup was submitted by Mr. Shaky Legs. The first thing that confused me was he's got the entertainment center on the far right. You can see that dude standing there. I don't know what's going on with that, but when you look closer at his actual setup, he's got a TV which looks like it's for consoles, and then the main displays.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of confused with how that works, because you would think you would have the gaming with the consoles over at the main entertainment setup, but then what is he doing with the TV on his desk?
I'd clean it up a bit. Like, it seems like there's a lot of stuff like that TV he doesn't need. The dresser and stuff over on the bottom right could be cleaned up.
And definitely like framing the posters. And he did lose a lot of points on cable management. Like you were saying, he's got those cables going on behind all those monitors and TV, and it's like, you know, good underneath, but on top not so much. Mr. Shaky Leg scored an 82. The next setup was submitted by Matt. My first thing when I looked at this was, where's the setup? And then I was like, oh, it's behind all the freaking leaves. I mean, what the hell are those? That can't be real. Those aren't real. Are they real? They're not real.
No, those aren't real.
They look awful. It's like the back wall is epic, and then you're just covering how cool it is.
I like the shelving on the wall, besides the fact that there's not much on those big shelves. Like the graphics card takes up all of that little shelf, which makes sense, but then you have the one with the little Chinese dog and then the red car, but there's not much of a theme either. That was when I first looked at this. I was like, there's not much of a theme with the shelves there.
Don't get me wrong, this setup is great. It's awesome. It's just few things like the shelves above are a little too empty. Totally agree with that. The trees need to go. Cable management needs to be fixed, and just a little bit, like maybe an hour of cleaning, and this thing will be 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous. Matt scored a 78. The final setup was submitted by Ben.
I really like it. This is definitely one of my favorite ones. I think he did a very good job with everything he has. It's all spread out. From the picture, you can tell that like the mic, it looks like it's blocking the screen, but obviously you can just move that out of the way. Yeah, I think he did a very good job with this, and he's got everything he needs to be able to just sit down and say, all right, I'm ready to game.
Simplicity with the single monitor setup, really, really great. The only thing I could really complain about with this setup is that there's no, besides the blue, I like the blue, right. There's got to be something above.
Definitely get some posters or something, like maybe a shelf. Like if he gets like some pop vinyls or something, get like a shelf over to the left.
Ben got first place with an 85. Thanks for watching the Pit My Setup highlights for episode number 116.